As scientists warn about the fragility of our planet's climate at the UN summit in Glasgow, people around the world are taking to the streets calling for decisive action. Crowds of concerned citizens joined climate activists in the Scottish city to demonstrate for a second day. They're demanding drastic action to curb global warming. Delegates from nearly every country in the world are in the city negotiating how to limit temperature rises to 1.5 degrees Celsius. But for activists, even this could be too little, too late. Last night, climate activist Greta Thunberg described the summit as a failure. And we asked protesters what message they wanted to send world leaders at the summit.
So we want commitment to massive infrastructure and jobs in healthcare and a green transition. And we want no more investment in new fossil fuels, as the International Energy Agency has said, by the end of this year.
Start paying attention to climate change and actually take real action.
I mean, an achievable task would be to end domestic flights. I don't see the point in getting planes from London to Scotland. There's enough trains going around, so yeah, a small target like that I'd appreciate, but yeah, on a global level they need to do much more.
The thing is, they really have to act now. We want to be as loud as possible, because what's happening now is they are putting the blame or the responsibility for the climate crisis on regular people, on people like you and me. And we think it's really important to attack the big polluting multinationals who are the most responsible for climate.
And for more, let's cross over to DW correspondent Zara Stefan, who's in Glasgow. Zara, what's been happening where you are?
Well, in the streets of Glasgow, there's a protest march going on right now. We're towards the end of it. You can see cyclists for climate change are lining up here. You can hear them ringing their bells. There's a lot of people turned up here despite the rain and heavy winds, and people here really want to make their voices heard, that leaders take climate change seriously.
And Zara, what are the people protesting against? What exactly do they want to achieve today?
I think I may have lost the connection. They demand that leaders keep to their promise to limit climate change to 1.5 degrees Celsius, and that they actually make more than just pledges, that they stick to promises they've made, and that they show us real climate action.
Zara, Greta Thunberg has already labelled this summit a failure. How do the protesters feel about what they've seen and what they've heard from world leaders so far?
I can't hear. I can't hear anything. Could you try again, please?
Yeah, Zara's just asking what the protesters make of what they've seen and heard from world leaders so far.
Well, the march is going on throughout the city of Glasgow, and then later on there will be a rally where Greta Thunberg and other climate activists like Ugandan climate activist Vanessa Nakata are bound to speak. Greta Thunberg yesterday already called this COP26 a failure, and it's quite clear that they demand more actions from world leaders.
Zara Stefan at a very loud climate protest in Glasgow. Thank you very much. Well, demonstrations are not just happening in Glasgow. Worldwide, people are calling for meaningful decisions at the climate summit. In Paris, where the last COP meeting took place, protesters laid out canvas portraits of world leaders asking for them to take action. Where is Planet B? Protesters are asking. Thousands also took to the streets of London on what activists are calling the Global Day of Action for Climate Justice. And earlier, in Australia, protesters there called on Prime Minister Scott Morrison, or they called him rather, an absolute embarrassment for supporting fossil fuel industries in Australia.